Ballers podcast. I am Nikhil. I'll soon be joined by Gopal. Let's get started. So, a really interesting game today morning. The Celtics came out there and gut punched the Heat again to force Game 6 in Miami. Uh, you never know. It's possible that you have a 3-zit comeback. You never know. Especially especially because of the fact that it's very clear in this series, if anyone is watching, uh, if the Celtics play well, uh, there's no way the Miami Heat beat them. So if the Celtics play well, there's absolutely no way the Miami Heat beat them. And that's been the story of the entire series. Even the first three games which they lost, it's just the fact that the Celtics didn't play well, if you really think about it. And why is that a problem, or why is that an issue? This conversation which you have always, you'll have a lot of coaches which will tell you, you'll have a lot of players which will tell you, experienced players, that hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. uh, but when talent does work hard, it's pretty much unstoppable to beat them. So from that standpoint, right, it's absolutely clear that the Celtics have a better team, and when they bring in the effort, when they are ready to play, when they are absolutely making sure that they are playing on the defensive end like they did the last year, where they were, a historically great defense. There's no way this Miami Heat team wins. The fact that the Miami Heat team went up 3-2 is not because they played so well. They played great for sure, but it's the fact that the Celtics didn't bring it. So if you see this particular game, few things which the Celtics did, which I want to talk about. The first thing was they initiated and they got Jason Tatum to initiate a lot of their offense. So why is this important? It's important because Jason Tatum single-handedly applies a lot of pressure on any offense. Jason Tatum, in terms of talent, when he gets it going, is nothing less than a Kevin Durant, or is nothing less than even the Jimmy Butler. In fact, Jason Tatum can play Jimmy Butler to a tie. And then if you look at the rest of the roster, of course, the Celtics are a better team. So that's them making a decision. Like, he ended up with 11 assists. That just tells you that he's not typically known to be a passer. He's a very good passer, but he's not typically known to be a passer. So what ends up happening is when he's attacking the offense, one is, of course, Jimmy Butler now has to commit a lot on the defensive end. But second is everyone else gets a bit more freed up. So what do I mean by everyone else? Your Jalen Brown, Derek White, Marcus Smart, Al Horford, all of these guys, like, they had a superb game. Like, if you look at the points, they had four players scoring more than 20 points. If you look at the first three games of the series which the Celtics lost, on the offensive end, Jason Tatum was relegated to being a bailout player, meaning he would just end up, you know, he would just end up getting the ball, trying to bail the Celtics out when their offense didn't work. Whereas in this game, he was initiating the offense. And there's a lot of difference between getting the ball when there's 4 seconds left versus getting the ball when there's 24 seconds left or 18 seconds left. You have a lot more time to make the right move, to drive in, to kick and pass. So, really, that was one of the main adjustments which I really loved. And this basically tells you that if Celtics have any hope of winning the next game and the series as well, is they'll have to commit to being clear that, okay, Jason Tatum is our guy, and then Jalen Brown is a clear number two and number three. Like, that difference which is going on right now is a big, big issue. So between Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum on the court, off the court, of course, they're pretty good and pretty chill. But on the court, they have to make sure that Jason Tatum is the one who's bringing up the ball, who's making the right plays, who's pushing it, and Jalen Brown needs to be a secondary. Now let's talk about some statistics from the Heat side. Now, one interesting thing on the Heat side is if you look at it on paper. If I didn't show you the Boston box score, if I showed you this, just this, they shot 51% from the field. They shot 39. That's basically 40% from three. They had good amount of free throws. They had a lot of rebounds. 36, 37. This does not seem like a blowout. So what gives? They even won the turnover battle 9-16. I mean, what gives? What are they? Sorry, they lost the turnover battle, of course. But what are they? If you look at the first five, box scores, what are they missing? Well, it's just clear that they're not missing anything. There's nothing wrong which the Heat is doing. It's just that when the Celtics are playing hard, there's no way the Heat have a chance, and that's the reality of it. Now, if you think from this standpoint, it's interesting to see what happens in the next game, which is game 6, because if they manage to do that, I think they'll be the second team in NBA history to beat down 3-0 and force a game 7. The first one was the Spurs, who did it on Dallas Mavericks, I think back in 2005 or 6. I'm not sure. I don't remember which year. But that's just the reality, wherein if the Celtics are engaged, if the Celtics are playing with crazy amount of passion and determination, there's no team. Forget about the Heat. There's no team in the NBA who can, match. So let me show you some highlights while we wait for Gopal to join uh, of the Celtics offense. So if you pay attention here, of course they were forcing a lot of turnovers. So they got 13 steals today, but if you see the offense even in this possession was initiated by Jason Tatum, which forces Jimmy Butler to commit outside and basically take him out, from a defense, from their normal team defense. Like Butler has to play him one on one. Again, Jason Tatum initiating ends with a simple Jalen Brown three. Let's continue. You have him being aggressive, getting penetration, kicking it out to Marcus Smart. So this offense ticks when Jason Tatum is running it. He is a damn good player, All NBA first team. It was an MVP candidate. I think Boston just got to have a have a conversation, sit down. Joe Mazzulla has to be clear that hey, Jalen Brown is the guy bringing who's gonna be bringing up a lot of the offense, who's going to be taking a lot of the shots. Now, what this also did was it freed up some of their guards. I think their guards, none of their guards, they have three good guards: Smart, uh, Derek White, and Malcolm Brogdon. I think a lot of these guards are more score first instead of, sort of actual guards, point guards. And by allowing Jason Tatum to bring up the ball, what ends up happening is Uh, yeah, that's true. So Kevin asks, "Where's Gopal?" Hey, Kevin, he'll be joining in another 5-10 minutes. There was some scheduling issue, and he thought it was a bit later, so he'll be joining soon. And Vishnu asks, "Talent that worked hard. Best example is Giannis Antetokounmpo." Absolutely, not just Giannis Antetokounmpo, guys. Like from a team perspective, right? Don't just think from an individual perspective. Individually, Jason Tatum is still a legit great player, but from a team perspective, they don't. Boston Celtics have these lulls. They just disappear. As a team, they stop working hard, and that's a big problem. Uh, I have a question for all our audience here. I mean, honestly, tell me if the Celtics are engaged. If the Celtics are engaged, tell me which team is better than them in the entire NBA. Like you can comment below. I'll highlight your comment. But that's the thing, right, with the Celtics, that the problem when they lose, right, it's typically when they beat themselves, because I have never seen the Celtics lose a game when they are playing with a lot of effort. To give you some context and perspective, if you look at game 4 of Lakers versus Nuggets, where the Lakers lost, Lakers gave it their best shot. Like, they could not do anything more, in my opinion. As a team, they maxed out that team, and they still lost. So that's an important that's a very important thing to think about, because that's what tells you the difference between a great team and a good team. The Miami Heat are a really good team. They're not a great team. The reason they are up 3-2 is because the Celtics are playing like crap in the first three games. And the last two games, if you're looking at the point differential combined, they've lost by almost 40 points, the Miami Heat. So it's absolutely, crazy that even to this even now, after 5-6 years of this team being together and continuously playing. So guys, by the way, Gopal has joined. Hey Gopal.
Hey, hey, bro, I'll just come back in a bit.
Sorry. uh sure. So Gopal, I think, still has some scheduling issues. Sorry, I mean technical issues. He'll join back. But yeah, talking back about this. Now, the second reason why the Celtics have been dominating the last two games is their shots have started falling. Now, a lot of you will be like, okay, I mean, shots falling is such a weird argument, or like, how is that a significant point? Now, think about it like this, guys, that when Celtics, when they lost the third game, right, I feel they lost a lot of their pressure. So what do I mean by pressure? It was like, now it was pretty much winner take all sort of, winner take all sort of. They didn't have anything to lose, basically. And I think when they lost that pressure, when they didn't have to think about, okay, like, the game's already over, the series is already over, honestly. uh, I think they finally started getting in rhythm against this Miami Heat defense. Now, say what you want, the Miami Heat defense will force you to take a bad shot every possession, or will even if your offense creates a good shot, like, you'll have to work to create that shot. So not a lot of people are in rhythm. So what started happening is, because the Celtics lost a lot of their pressure and lost a lot of their sort of lost that stress, they started shooting it, and they took shots in rhythm. And I think them scoring 40% from three has been a major difference, because of the amount of three pointers they are able to generate from their offense. So Gopal, what's up? A lot of our audience was asking for you, man. I said Gopal has been very lazy.
No, no, I not being lazy. In fact, I watched the game. It was it's not a case of waking up late. It was crazy, dude. Like, dude, this is. I think what I had predicted is seems very very likely, especially with Gabe Vincent injury. I don't know if you already spoke about that, but I think that was like a
So Kevin was
decisive.
missing you. He says, "Yo, Gopal, good morning."
Oh man, dude, I'm awake, dude. Like, come on, this.
He saw the game.
I I
There
watched
was
the
a
game.
scheduling conflict. Sorry, guys. He thought it was at 10. So
I
that's not
turned.
actually.
I showed up late, bro. Like
Yeah.
many, like the Boston Celtics. Even I showed up late.
So yeah, Gopal. I mean, I was just summarizing from my perspective why I think Celtics have dominated the Heat the last two games. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I think it's not even an adjustment, right? It's just the energy and intent, uh,
Exactly.
right? So I don't know if that's what you said. In which case, this is not scripted. Didn't speak to each other before this. So, but yeah, it's just energy, intent. But it's crazy that it takes 3 games for them to get into their groove. Like this is they're. But that's the thing, law of averages, right? I think they're back to playing their best. But I do feel, again, I feel like it's just one too many injuries for the Heat. And because there were moments, right, whenever Heat came back within 15, Celtics were able to, go on their own counter run. If a guy like Gabe Vincent is there and he's going to give you, say, 12, 15 points, then it puts Celtics back under pressure. And then then that's the gray area, right? With the Celtics, can they withstand pressure? Can they win close games? Because I think both their wins have been blowouts, which is a huge indicator of the. If they win big. Otherwise, they don't win.
Right. So,
So
guys, I have an important announcement while we discuss the Celtics Heat game. If you have questions about the tryouts, the Youth Basketball Championship, whatever it is, I know a lot of you have joined just for that. Please comment below, and we'll make sure that they're addressed in the second part of this live stream. So
okay,
we'll start talking about it around approximately around 9:55, another 10 minutes.
yeah, guys, stay on because the Indian basketball scene is at a very very pivotal juncture, Nikhil.
So, by the way, to give all of you some context, I absolutely have no idea about the Indian basketball team. In fact, or the Indian basketball scene. In fact, I had Gopal was the one who introduced me to it, and he said, "Nikhil, India also has a great, vibrant basketball community." So I'm
Hmm.
like, "Great, let's try to do whatever we can to help them out." So if you have any questions, just comment below. We'll make sure we highlight the comment and
Yeah.
we'll answer your question. And Gopal will, of course, do a quick monologue of everything which you need
Yes.
to
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's mind boggling, dude. My. It was crazy, dude. The permutations and combinations that are going on right now in Indian basketball is unbelievable. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's get back to the Celtics Heat. Now,
Hmm.
Gopal, here's the thing, right?
Huh.
Game six, who is the pressure on? That's the question.
It's completely on. Ooh. I think it's on the Heat, dude. Because the Heat don't win Game 6 at home,
The series is over.
the series is over. Specifically, it's on Jimmy Butler because
Yeah,
it needs a Butler. It needs a crazy Butler first half. Okay, and then he has to hope that the role players feed off of that. If not, it needs a crazy Jimmy Butler game.
right. Like a
Okay,
50 pointer.
yeah. Because again, I'm not sure. I think Gabe Vincent is going to return to the team for Game 6, and even if he returns, there's a question whether he's still going to be effective. So my point is they are very, very depleted, and all the injuries are in the guard position, Nikhil. That's crazy. I wish there was a fair way of distributing injuries between guards, forwards, and centers. But you're looking at what Oladipo, Tyler Hero, and Gabe Vincent.
Right,
They're all guards, and Kyle Lowry does not. He won't have that punch right for 4 quarters straight. He's not a guy who can play an entire game at that high intensity.
right.
Uh, so it comes down to Jimmy Butler having to have an epic first half and then hoping some of these other guys, like I don't know if you mentioned Highsmith. I don't know how Miami Heat find these kahin se aa jate hain. They pull these rabbits out of the hat, right? So I think Highsmith is going to get minutes, but I don't know if he's honestly if he's going to be that effective. So it comes down to Jimmy Butler. Pressure is on Miami. Celtics have nothing to lose because anyway this never happened before. 150 playoff series, no one has come back,
So
and
if
they're
they
playing
lose,
freely. Yeah.
yeah, and they've made it a 6 game series, so it's not as embarrassing as a sweep.
Correct. Correct. And also the way they won, right? If they had just
Yeah,
won on some freakish outside shooting,
no, they've
the
dominated the hit end
defense,
to
dude,
end. Yeah,
the defense that they played, and they forced Heat into, I think, 14, 15 turnovers in the last 2 games, right? So the entire dynamic
has
of
changed.
has changed, right? And again, it's not one guy. I think this is the first game where you had 4 Celtics players all scoring 20 points or more. So those are huge pluses. Okay, Marcus Smart has rediscovered his mojo on the defensive end. Their defensive identity somehow seems to have been born in the last 72 hours. So yeah, man, all these are crazy pluses. Also, the fact is, let's also look at even Celtics have their own injury issue, right? I didn't know that Brogdon, he actually has a fracture or something in his hand between his
Yes,
thumb and
yes,
finger.
yes.
So that's something to look at. But the fact is, I think that impacts Celtics less than the kind of injuries that the Heat has, right? Because the Celtics are so deep, and especially when you guys have different guys stepping up like this.
Yep.
White was huge, right? In all
Derek
those,
White had a 24-point game. He was massive.
he was not missing, dude.
Yeah.
And again,
No,
the
and he's
time,
had games like this even the
yeah,
last postseason, if you notice.
correct. So I felt like every time the Robinson again was better than I thought he would. So that's what, even the Heat had a lot of positives. If you look at the way the Heat played, I don't think the Heat played badly. I am not.
Yeah, so this is what I was saying right before you came on, that
Huh.
it was not that the Heat played bad. It's absolutely clear that when Heat have a good game and Celtics have a good game, the Celtics win.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like the problem is not the Heat. The problem is literally, yeah, I mean, that's going to be the reality of this series. And this is one of the reasons why, a comeback is even possible. The fact that we are talking about it is the reason we're even talking about it is because of this, that the the Celtics are clearly a better team, clearly.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, there's no doubt. That's what I'm saying. I think it's, if you asked even before the series started, right? It's a Heat Celtics going to 7. Then you'll just conclude that the Heat played extremely well,
So
right?
we have yeah, we have a couple of comments. Kevin Somani says Heat's no identity was surprise for me in the playoffs, and now with the Celtics playing their best basketball, Heat look like why they are
Yeah,
eighth
yeah,
seed.
yeah. Now it feels like a eighth seed versus a whatever second seed or whatever this matchup is. So
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah,
And we have another comment. If they had Gallinari healthy, the series would be over. I don't think so, man. The reason is Gallinari is not a great defender. Like a lot of times when you see in any team he plays, whenever he plays, uh, the moment the moment Gallinari is on the floor, the guards start attacking him from the opposite side. He doesn't have the length, uh, nor does he have the athleticism to stay in front of a lot of guards. Like people will just blow by him easily.
but dude, Gallinari is a fun dude. Like his confidence never dips. Okay, on the offensive end,
That
like
is true. And it's possible that the
yeah,
Celtics would have loved to have a guy like that, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like someone who's. So anyway, guys, this was the game. I'm sure the Nuggets are getting very happy that the series is getting extended because they are
Are
going to get
we?
a lot of rest, and when they
Yeah,
come, it'll be huge. So now, Gopal, any other thoughts on the NBA
I
before
do.
we get
Yeah,
into?
yeah, I do have a couple of things. Like we're about game 6, right? So I feel like uh, Cel- I mean, the Celtics is not going to win a close game, right? So it's either going to be a Celtics blowout or
Okay.
or the Heat winning a close one. That's my prediction for game 6. I don't know where. Obviously, Heat is not going to blow out the Celtics. I don't. I think that will be, if Celtics have a brain fart again. Like if they don't come out with the intensity, then officially I have given up on the Celtics. So I don't know what's your prediction. What your prediction is about this?
No, man, I think Jimmy Butler will come and take care of business at home. I don't
No,
think he's gonna.
but will it be a close game, or are you saying it could be a Heat blowout win?
No, it'll be a. I think it'll be a close game. It may be a blow. Like it'll be close for the first three quarters, I think, and after that, Butler will just close the door. The
Ooh,
thing is, you need a. If they didn't have a legit closer, I would be worried. But Butler is a closer, dude. Like he'll take care of business, and if he doesn't, then I would have lost a little bit of respect for him, honestly.
ooh, yeah, yeah.
So
I don't think I lose respect for him because he has taken a team which is not expected to have done so well to such a point. I do see a rebound game, not literally, but I think I would like to see a better game from Kevin Love. I think he
right,
was he was a non-factor. Kyle Lowry, I just think he's not used to playing so many minutes. So, even Kyle Lowry was largely ineffective, right? So I think these two guys with the championship caliber, they have to support Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler is still going to make those big plays. He has to make those big plays. But the whole point of having Kevin Love and Kyle Lowry is to help them tight through those middle quarters, keep them in the hunt kind of
yeah.
thing. So yeah.
So yeah, now Gopal, the reason why I think so many people have joined today, which is the tryouts. So what the hell is this? Why so many issues, and how come there were so many questions about the tryouts in the Eklavyas basketball community?
Okay, okay.
Would you want to summarize everything? I will
Y-
spotlight you.
Oh, that's nice of you to do that. So yeah, the entire thing about Indian basketball, for firstly, to people who don't understand the Indian basketball scene, right? You have multiple national championships at different age groups. So you have the under 14 level for boys and girls. You have the under 16, which is called youth. You have the under 18, which is junior, and then you have the senior. So what has happened is that the youth, that is the under 16 national basketball championships, is supposed to happen in, or was supposed to happen in, Didwana, Rajasthan. And the Indian team selection is always based on the performance in the national championship. So the top players from every national championship, they end up getting called to the India camp, right? And you have the U16 FIBA Women's Asian Championship, which is going to start on 10th of May in Amman, Jordan, right? So this is a very important event. The national championship that was supposed to happen basically decides the Indian U16 girls team for the Asian Championship. Now, this is where it gets extremely messy. Okay, the issue is that right now, Basketball Federation of India is not headed by an actual elected body, right? There's a court dispute going on. There are two factions that are fighting for power. So, as of today, there is a court appointed administrator. Okay, the court appointed administrator, a retired judge, Justice P. Krishna Bhatt, he's basically managing the affairs of BFI. So you can imagine the kind of confusion and chaos, even for someone like him, right? Someone who has not actually administered a sport, uh, let alone at a national level. Suddenly he's at the helm of the Basketball Federation of India, right? His mandate is just to ensure that the elections get conducted. But unfortunately, the elections are getting dragged out for multiple reasons. Okay, Justice P. Krishna Bhatt is saying that, I have not got any documents, I have not got checkbooks, I have not got passbooks. Okay, I have no accounts. So how am I supposed to organize a national level event which has teams coming in from what, 26, 28 different states, boys and girls? So around 50 teams have to come, and you have to conduct a 7 to 8 day national championship. How am I supposed to do that? Okay, so this was his argument in court. These court proceedings are going on. So he said, I don't have time, what do I do? So he said, I can't actually have this youth national basketball championship. So it has been cancelled, right? So the youth basketball national championship has been cancelled for both boys and girls. But because you have the FIBA U16 Women's Asian Championship happening on 10th, he has come out with another mechanism where he's saying that uh, every state, you send your five best girl players to Chhattisgarh. Okay, there's a Sports Authority of India in Rajnandgaon in Chhattisgarh. Okay, so every state has to send their five best players to Chhattisgarh by 30th. Okay, by 30th May evening, all the prospects, five best girls players, is going to turn up in Chhattisgarh, and then they're going to do some sort of emergency tryout camp for about 3-4 days. Okay, and then after that, the team gets selected, and then they have to apply for visa, and they have to turn up in Amman, Jordan by 10th of May. Okay, so you can only imagine this is not an ideal situation. And the complexity also arises is that there is no guarantee that every state is going to send its players. Right, like I said, there is a faction fight going on. Right, so there are two sides to this. So maybe some states which are which want to come to power, they may not want to send their players to this camp. Right, so what happens to players from some of these states? Right, so they are affected. Right, so players always get caught in any sort of power struggle, and players unfortunately get elected. And the kind of messages also that we're getting now, boys are also getting angry. Okay, girls ke liye you have this special scheme, right? But what about us? What are we supposed to do? So all under 16 boys, they have lost out on a chance to get a certificate saying we have played national level basketball, right? So their entire prospect of, say, getting a college scholarship gets affected, because when you're talking about under 16, we're talking about 16 years and 11 months or 10 months, right? They're just about to go and join some colleges, right? Or they're in 11th standard. So what about them, right? They lose certificate opportunities, medal opportunities, job opportunities. So this is a very, very sad state of affairs. It is not an ideal situation, and there are multiple court cases going on, and we'll probably get a verdict of that for 30th. But as of now, the situation is under 16 boys completely out of the picture. They have no national event to showcase their talent. Under 16 girls, they are at the mercy of their states to be listed among their top five players. No one knows again how the states are going to decide that. How does the state decide these are the five best players? Because some states have conducted their under 16 state championships, other states have not. Right. So this is again a big question mark on. So it's a mess. It's obviously not perfect, but hopefully we'll have an Indian team playing in the FIBA U16 Women's Asian Championship, because without that, that was a big question. If we're not able to do this on time, what happens? India does not take part, right? Or is it? So it's a very in So yeah, that's the summary of it. So all we can do is hope that better sense prevails and we can have basketball functioning in India again.
Wow. So, Gopal, while you've answered some of the questions, I'll just go through some of the questions which were asked in the Eklavya's basketball community.
Okay.
And to everyone who's watching this, guys, if you have specific questions, please comment below. We'll try to address them. So Abhishek is asking, is there any update for boys nationals? And he also said that girls nationals has been cancelled. So is that true?
Yeah, so the national championship has been cancelled. So the national championship, under 16 national championship for both boys and girls is cancelled.
Definitively.
Definitely, it is cancelled. Okay, so
Boys and girls.
boys and girls cancelled. It is just that for the girls, they'll have open direct tryouts in Sai Rajnandgaon, Chhattisgarh. So the girls, and that is only because there's a FIBA U16 Asian Women's Championship happening. That's why the girls have this special opportunity. The boys, there is also that FIBA U16 Boys Championship that is supposed to happen later on in the year. So maybe they may conduct a boys championship. So this, they're saying cancelled now, but there may be a chance they may have a U16 boys championship later on, say 1 month, 2 months down the road. If not, they may have a similar system for the boys where they'll call the top 5 boys U16 prospects from every state and conduct an open selection tryout for them later in the year. But that has not been announced. That is just me hoping that's what happens. But as of now, there is no announcement regarding boys. The boys cancelled, girls cancelled. The girls just have to go for this tryouts in Sai Rajnandgaon, Chhattisgarh.
Okay. The next question which Abhishek has asked was: is there any chance for boys when Asia Cup will be held?
Exactly. That's what I just said. So there is a chance that a similar selection tryout may happen for the U16 boys, where every state sends the 5 best under 16 boys player to one particular facility, and they do like a 1 week or hopefully longer duration camp, and then they select the Indian U16 team based on that. Right. So that's a possibility. Yes.
Okay. Now, the next question for you, Gopal, is a reason why all of this is happening is because the Justice P. Krishna Bhatt has not got access to BFI operations. Is that correct?
That is what he has claimed, right? That
Okay.
is what he's alleging. Now obviously, now the other side has said no, we have given all the checkbooks and passbooks, right? So this is an ongoing court case. There's a contempt of court case that has been filed against the former BFI president and secretary general. So
Okay.
those proceedings are going on. There is also a parallel division judge Delhi High Court hearing that is going on, right? So there are these two different legal proceedings happening almost in parallel. But yes, that's what the administrator is saying, that I have not got any support. I was promised support as per this Delhi High Court order. I was supposed, the BFI should have given me everything so that I can conduct all the affairs of Basketball Federation of India until the elections happen, right? So but you're right, he's saying I'm not getting that support. In fact, there's this crazy revelation which I have posted on the Eklavya's Instagram page. This was reported by Bar and Bench. It's a legal news website where Justice P. Krishna Bhatt's advocate has said that apparently there were bouncers and security guards preventing him from even entering the Basketball Federation of India office, right? So that is one mind-blowing sort of argument or observation that has been made by the advocate for Justice P. Krishna Bhatt in the Delhi High Court.
So we have a question from Amartya Sharma. Amartya Sharma asks, who is going to coach this team, Coach Matic or Mohit Bhandari?
Okay, so just again for context, this question is about the Indian men's team. All
Okay.
right, this is not about the upcoming U16 Girls Championship, because Coach Veselin Matic, for context, he has been the head coach of the senior Indian men's team, and Mohit Bhandari has been his assistant coach. Right. So to answer your question, Amartya, we don't know. Okay, as of now, Coach
Because there is no team to coach.
there is no team to coach, there is no event. Okay, so usually how this works is that Coach Veselin Matic is still in India. Okay, he has not gone back to Serbia, his contract has not been terminated. So there is no reason to believe that Coach Matic is not going to continue coaching the Indian team, right? But that's a separate question whether his contracts gets terminated if a new if new office bearers come to power. But as of now, Coach Matic and Coach Bhandari are the head coach and assistant coach of the Indian men's team.
Okay. So guys, if you have any other questions, please comment below or send them on WhatsApp as a message. I'll take that question up here. We're trying to address as many queries as possible. Let's continue, Gopal. So my question is this: does FIBA have any sort of regulations for U16 wherein they need clarity of team, some time beforehand and things like that? If that's not done, will they be allowed to participate and things like that?
Yeah, yeah, that's a great question. Yes, they do.
Okay.
Okay, but I'm so
What's the
normal.
deadline?
So I think it is 1 month before where they have to send FIBA the first cut, like a probables list, that these are the say 15 or 20 or odd players from whom we are going to select the final roster. So that initial list has to be sent to FIBA 1 month before,
Okay.
and then the final list can be sent, I think, 1 week or 10 days before. So yes, we are cutting it fine on multiple fronts. There is no doubt that BFI will have to ask for an exception this time, saying that we were not able to do it because of all these things going on. But we can fairly expect that that FIBA will show some leniency, right? If not, Nikhil, if not, there's a crazy situation where perhaps there could be an Indian team that plays without having India on their jersey, right?
What?
Let's hope it does not come to that. That is just
No,
something
but
that,
who will who will go to play?
no, it'll still probably be these players, but they will say that, you didn't follow the protocol. We're allowing you to play under a sort of special, you can't play as India. So that, I'm just saying, let's not come to that. I don't want to spread rumors yet, but I'm
Okay.
saying that is still a possibility that may come up. Again, right, there are things that I'm hearing which I don't even want to speculate on. There could be a situation where you could have perhaps two different Indian teams playing, okay? Because there are two rival factions potentially, right? So what happens if there is one faction that sends one team, another faction that sends another team? Then FIBA will have to decide, okay, is this the Indian team or this is the Indian team,
But
right?
Gopal, as you mentioned this, I was going through eklavyas.com, and one of the news you reported is the former BFI president was named the FIBA Asia president. So
Yeah.
I'm assuming that he's gonna, whoever he is, I'm assuming that he'll allow the Indian team.
So that's now we are obviously going into a lot of speculation, right? But this individual you're referring to, the former BFI president who became the FIBA Asia president, he is Mr. K Govindraj, right? He is one of those parties involved in this power tussle
Okay.
between two factions of BFI, right? So he is now he has been elected as a FIBA Asia president. So logically, yes, he should be supportive of encouraging India's participation.
Okay.
But let's see, man. Let's see. I don't want to jump the gun, but as of now, if you are a talented under 16 girls basketball
So
player,
one sec.
yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Please finish that announcement.
Yeah. So I'm saying, if you are a talented under 16 girls basketball player, as soon as possible, speak to your club coach, speak to your state association, tell them that, please, I want to be considered uh, to be sent, right? At the very least, contact your coach, contact your club, make sure that if needed, I don't know if they ask you this, but maybe send some video, send some highlights tape of you playing, so that you are considered to be among the 5 players from your state that gets sent to the India camp. That's what you should
Guys,
do as a
you
girl
have
player.
to, yeah, you have to get to Sai Rajnanda Goan Chhattisgarh.
Yeah, but don't just get there by yourself, right? It has to come through your association, right? You can't
Yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
land up
Apologies.
in
Please speak to the.
Chhattisgarh, right? You have to get your state has to be the one to decide. Okay, these are the 5 players that are going from our state,
Correct.
right? So you have to contact your local coach, local club, and pass on the message, uh, and then hope that you get picked. If not, it's just so sad.
So we have,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So Gopal, while you say this, we have few more questions. Amartya Sharma asks, under what circumstances can this happen? Amartya, I didn't understand. Oh yeah, okay. His question became clear next. Under what circumstances can we have two Indian teams or a team without a country representation?
Uh, so again, this is we are jumping the gun a bit, but say hypothetically, you have a national federation which is recognized by the Union Sports Ministry. Okay, and you have that same federation is say recognized also by the Indian Olympic Association. So that is one level of recognition where the national federation recognized by the India's government and government bodies. That's one. Then you also have the international recognition. Okay, FIBA in this case, the International Basketball Federation also has to recognize the every national federation, right? So there is this crazy possibility where the sports ministry can recognize one BFI, FIBA can recognize another BFI. Okay, so if that happens, then you're looking at a situation where you could have the same country send two teams, right? And then it comes down to FIBA deciding, okay, this is actually the our recognized team and not the other one, right? So that is the situation when you have different recognizing bodies recognizing different federations, right? So that's
But it's
but
speculation, guys. Please be aware of that.
yeah,
This
yeah,
is not reporting.
yeah, this is not, this is just honestly, this is just something I hope will not happen. But again, even Nikhil, if you're tuning in there, this has happened at the national level. Okay,
Okay.
at the national championship before, you have had teams from one state, you have had two teams coming up. Okay, so so
Okay.
say hypothetically you have Haryana 1, Haryana 2, and they're both claiming that we are the Haryana state team. Okay,
Okay.
so this happened at the national level, it has never happened at the international level. That's what I'm hoping. Let's hope for the best. Let's hope there is only one Indian team that goes. Let's hope an Indian team even goes, because
Right.
we're also looking at visa, and all these things have to
And
get
these take a lot of time.
these take. So we are looking at the fact that the maybe the union government has to intervene to expedite the visa process also, right?
Right.
So then we are
So
also looking at the home ministry, foreign ministry getting involved, and for
wow.
doing that for basketball, I don't see, I don't, it's
Yeah, you
tough,
don't
man.
think that happens for
Yeah, yeah,
basketball.
yeah,
If it were
yeah.
cricket or something, it may happen.
Correct.
Let's continue. We have another question from Rakesh Maheshwari. Rakesh asks, will FIBA allow the admin selected team to participate? So I don't know what he's referring to. So
He's
you'll
referring,
have to tell me.
yeah, yeah. So when he's saying admin, he's referring to the administrator.
Okay.
Okay, so this is what exactly what he's talking about. Right now, BFI is being run by a court appointed administrator.
Okay.
Okay, historically, even if you look at other cases in say football or in
Hmm.
other sports, generally international sporting bodies don't recognize, uh, they call it court interference. Okay, they
Okay.
call it non-sporting body interference,
Okay.
right? So that's what I'm saying. These are all speculations, but there's a good chance even if the administrator, they those say these 30 girls, okay, 30-50 girls, they end up in Chhattisgarh, and then the administrator decides, okay, this is our Indian team. Okay, and then he's going to send that list to FIBA,
Hmm.
right? So then there are the two things, like you said, Nikhil. The one thing is about whether that entry has come in on time. So
Okay.
on that alone, it may get rejected, right?
Okay.
And if even if that's not the case, even if they say, okay, no, this is fine, it is coming on time, we're willing to give the relaxation, FIBA can say you are a court appointed administrator, right? You have not won the national federation elections, so why should we recognize you?
Okay.
Correct, that's what I'm saying. It's so messy, but to answer you, Rakesh, we have to obviously hope that FIBA does allow the administrators uh, team to come
So
and
as
play
of
under the
now,
Indian
there's no
flag.
definitive answer for this, Rakesh.
No, as of now,
Unfortunately.
no. But we will know everything in the next 7
Few.
days.
Okay. Rakesh has another follow-up question. He asks, did FIBA ask the admin to conduct tryouts?
Uh, that is only something that the administrator can answer.
There's been
But
no announcement. Yeah.
yeah, because but logically speaking, there is no need for FIBA to, how it works. It's a pyramid structure. Okay, the FIBA does not tell a national federation how to run its affairs within the country. The
Correct.
same way the national federation does not tell a state how to run affairs within a state, and the state does not tell a district how to do things in a district. So FIBA's job is just to is more like a supervisor largely. So I don't think, my answer is, I'm just guessing, but I'm pretty sure FIBA has not asked the administrator to do
Do
anything.
tryouts.
Yeah.
Right. In FIBA's perspective, I'm guessing it'll be make sure that like the team is submitted before a given deadline. Make sure they
Yes.
show up. They don't care
Yeah.
about anything else, is what I think.
Exactly. You're right. That's a
Uh,
blunt way of putting it, but you're right.
Hari Shankar asks, "Do we have any clarity about under 13 nationals championships?"
So these things, okay. Anything about a calendar? Because this again, we got a query, right, Nikhil, on one
Yes.
of our other WhatsApp
So
groups. What is
Vishnu
the
asked.
calendar?
He
Yeah.
asked, "Can you please give us a calendar of events for the entire year?"
Okay, so this seems like a very obvious question. Like, obviously, we should have a calendar, right? Like, how but unfortunately, Indian basketball does not function that way yet.
Okay.
So, if you want, you can anyone can go to Eklavya's website. Maybe I'll share the link here also after this in the description. I have shared a general calendar, like normally from January to December. This is what happens. I have done it for last year. This year's calendar is not ready because these things again are decided by the Basketball Federation of India in their
Which does not
annual.
have a current management.
Yes, so it's decided in their annual general meeting. So this was one of the first decisions that would have been taken if BFI elections had happened. In their very first meeting, they would have said, "Okay, now we have 6 months, 8 months left. We're going to have this under 13 at this time, under 16 at this time, and of course we have the FIBA international events." So to answer you, Hari Shankar, at the national level we have no clarity on when what event is happening, but the FIBA Asia has released its calendar, right? So if you want to see all of the Asian events scheduled for the next 6 7 months, you can see that, and accordingly you can get some idea, because normally India conducts its national championships around 45 days before the international event, right? So
That's
it's
been
not
the trend for the last 10 years, Gopal.
roughly, yes, because the whole point of conducting a national championship is to select a team for the international level,
Correct.
right? So Harishankar, you can go to the FIBA Asia website, you can check the calendar and just do reverse mathematics. Okay, it's so yeah,
Wow. That's such a, okay, very interesting answer, I must say.
yeah,
Samraj says, "Thank you for sharing the knowledge." Thank you, Samraj, for this.
yeah. Thank you so much.
Amartya Sharma asks, if IOC or Union Ministry sends a team, does FIBA have the right to denial of such a team sent?
That's the same question that Rakesh asked,
Okay.
right? So let's obviously hope. So I think FIBA does have the right to answer your question, because FIBA is not controlled by the by an Indian government, right? FIBA is an international body. They basically have to follow whatever the International Olympic Committee says,
Okay.
right? So FIBA is an autonomous, independent institution. So
The
they
right.
do have a lot of right. But
No,
let's
but I
again.
will say this. I don't think this happens primarily because we have a Indian who is the FIBA Asia head. So I don't see why he would reject a team sent from India.
Again, we have to be very careful in how we choose our words, Nikhil, because this is an ongoing court case. But the fact is, the whole point is, uh, this this individual who has been appointed, who has been nominated, elected to the FIBA Asia president, he's also the one who is basically, the administrator has filed a contempt of case against him,
Okay.
right? So my point is, it's not that black and white, right?
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. I just hope that we everyone who's involved focuses on what's the best
Think for
uh,
the players.
for the players, right?
Yeah.
That's the main thing, right? If that
Right.
happens, then yes, we will have a team that goes and that proudly plays under the Indian flag.
So Vishnu asks a very interesting question to us, Gopal. Vishnu asks, "What is the goal of Indian basketball going forward? Is it realistic to say qualification for LA 28?"
uh
I
LA,
think he's referring to the Olympics.
yes, he is. So this is also very interesting, okay, that every national federation across sports, they have to actually send the list of their goals and targets to the sports ministry,
Okay.
okay, because all the national federations, they get funds from the union budget, right? The sports ministry allocates certain funds.
Okay.
Interestingly, I don't recall exactly if it was LA 28, but I think there's a, if I'm not mistaken, is there a Paris, when is the Paris Olympics? So my point is that when it comes to BFI, they have actually said that our goal is to make it in the 3x3 division of the Olympics, not 5 on 5. Okay. So to answer your question, BFI has actually announced that we do hope that the Indian 3x3 team can make it to the Olympics.
Oh, awesome. Okay, that's good news. So Amartya asks, what are the chances we might face a ban just like AIFF got from FIFA?
I'm actually impressed with you, Amartya, because all the questions that you're asking is unfortunately the pattern that we have seen, right? Because exactly like you said, FIFA banned the All India Football Federation when something similar happened, right? Where the union government, Praful Patel, the long-standing AIFF president, wanted to obviously continue in power, and then he was made to leave, and then FIFA called that interference and all of that. So this is unfortunately this is a possibility, right? But I don't want to ever jump to negative conclusions. Let's just see how the next 7-10 days play out. But all these, that's what I'm saying, Indian basketball is in a very very weird place right now, right? So this is a possibility, yes.
So does NSC have any rules, any clause or rules how to handle situations like this? I don't know what the NSC is.
This is okay. So now I'm starting to think Amartya Sharma is like, he sounds like a lawyer. Okay, like this is, so NSC is a National Sports Code.
Okay.
Okay, so for context, to everyone here, there is a National Sports Code of India, okay, which is just a fancy name for a bunch of different circulars that have been bound together in a sort of 200 page document, okay. And that is basically what is supposed to govern the functioning of national sports federations in India. Okay, so I honestly have not looked into the national. Like I said, it's some 200, 300 pages. There are some 20 annexures and stuff. I don't know if there's a specific clause about handling things like this. That, but all I can say is that it does give a particular election procedure, okay, saying that you need to have elections within certain times following these protocols. And that is what is anyway being argued in court right now, that the procedure that has been given has not been followed, that some people who were nominated should not have been, and vice versa, all of that, right? So that is anyway a court matter now. So the court is looking into this, and I'm sure whatever is within their power, they will decide according to the National Sports Code.
Interesting. Very interesting question. Thank you, Amartya. Davinder Kaur asks, what about U18 SABA? I don't know what that is.
Yeah, so again, to people who don't want to be familiar, SABA is a South Asian Basketball Association. So just like you have the Asian Championship, you also have a South Asian Championship, which is that level below the Asian Championship, right? So again, your question is a bit Davinder Kaur, right? So I'm assuming you're asking about girls. Okay, I don't know. You're not mentioned boys or girls, but my point is, this again, we don't know, right? This is a separate thing. This comes to the Saba, right? Saba is a separate organization, which will also announce its calendar, right? So all I can say is, as soon as we get any clarity on all the upcoming international and national events, this will be a live article on the Eklavya's website. Maybe we can pin it on the homepage. We'll create an Indian basketball calendar 2023, and we're going to start putting all the events there. Okay, with as much information as possible, including tryouts. Right. So please just keep checking out the Eklavya's website and social media platforms for this.
Perfect. Finally, Amartya finally reveals who he is. Amartya says, I'm not a lawyer. I'm a college student writing a thesis on Indian basketball. And he's really interested in what's going on in Indian basketball.
No,
So,
no,
Amartya,
yeah,
thank
I
you so
love it.
much for engaging. It's always fun to try to educate all of you. I mean, by the way, I wanted to say this, that Gopal has been covering Indian basketball for quite some time. So he's seen stuff like this happen. If any one of you are getting worried, and if you're U16, look, all you can do is just, honestly speaking, you can actually call according to FIBA, BFI, and try to get answers, or maybe call your local politician and get him to get answers, or call your local sports coach and try to get answers. Especially if you're a parent of a kid of who wants to participate in the U16 tournament. Unfortunately, that seems like an option, but that's the only option
No,
I
there
feel.
is there is another crazier option, which is just which very high risk. So guys, please understand, whatever we're telling you is just general advice. All of you who are listening, if you are under 16, you should please consult with your parent or guardian or a coach. All right. So please don't just take decisions of two guys who are talking on air on YouTube. Okay, we are obviously, we try to be as responsible as possible, but the
Yes.
fact also is, Nikhil, this is we have seen this generally. Okay, because I've also started covering sports legal developments. A lot of players themselves are not even waiting anymore for a state association. They are just directly, like a bunch of players are coming together and say filing a case. Okay, so that is also a possibility, but it's a very high risk possibility because those players stand to face potential retribution. uh, right.
So, guys, and if you're planning to take such approaches, be very, very sure of it. Don't get into it. Speak to a proper lawyer, speak to proper
Yeah.
guardians. Make sure you have sufficient financial backing. Don't, screw up your life and your career. Uh, Unfortunately, these systems and processes are bad, but they are the system and processes which we are in. So, you like it
Yeah.
or not, that's the reality. Uh, One last question. Oh, so sorry, we have two more questions before. After that, we'll close, Gopal. So Rishi Rajora asks: are boys supposed to get some opportunity?
Supposed to, yes.
Will they? No,
No, so
probably no.
no, no. Like I said, Rishi, there are two things. So one is definitely, if the FIBA Asia U16 Boys Championship, as and when that happens, before that, at the very least, there will be a similar sort of tryout situation,
Correct.
right? But then
So,
again, that also
so
depends, Nikhil, on what happens the next 10 days, right? FIBA has to accept this team, right?
no,
So
let's see. I
yeah.
mean, dude, the FIBA not accepting, I don't think that'll happen. Especially because of the fact that if an Indian has got elected FIBA Asia head or whatever president, uh, I mean, I'm sure they have enough influence to accept a damn team, man. Come on. Like,
I stopped making such guesses a long time ago.
okay. But I'm just thinking logically, but anyway. So Rishi, unfortunately, what you're saying they are supposed to get, but I don't know if they will.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
Amartya has one last question. Are the U16 boys stars who played last year and placed India fifth place eligible to play? Wow, I didn't know this. India was placed fifth place.
Yeah, dude, it was quite crazy. So here also shout out to the NBA Academy,
Okay.
dude. The NBA Academy, the top guys there, dude. We are actually qualified to the FIBA 3x World Cup, by the way. Yeah,
Wow.
dude, we went to the finals of the FIBA 3x Asia Cup.
Wow.
Okay, you should check it out, and guys, you can also check it out. These 20 minutes 3x games, dude. They play with fire. Okay, that's what I'm saying. The future of Indian basketball is very bright. All they needed was some structure and framework. But to answer your question, all this depends on the cutoff, right? The FIBA
Right,
has this
right, right.
age cutoff and things.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
normally the logic is, if you're being eligible to play the U16 national championship of that year,
Hmm.
even if the FIBA Asia one gets delayed,
Hmm.
you are still eligible,
Okay.
right? So
Okay.
it's not like you are eligible for one but not for the other.
Okay. So, guys, there you go. This was an interesting show. Uh, I mean, look, things will get better. That's all you can hope for. And yeah, let's see what happens. So, as we sign off, waiting to see. It's talking about the NBA because I don't know anything about India, but waiting talking about the NBA. We'll be we will be reacting live to Game 7 day after tomorrow. Not live, sorry, post game. So make sure you tune in for that. Do subscribe to
Game six.
Game 6.
Or you're saying it's already going to seven.
Oh, game six, game six. Do tune in for that. Please subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. Do scan and join the WhatsApp community,
Oh yeah, yeah,
guys.
yeah.
Don't miss that out.
No, no. And about that, Nikhil. Like, we would not have honestly even done an Indian segment if we had not seen all these questions come up. Right? This was literally
100%.
your idea. Like, bro, what is happening? What is? So I'm saying, guys, it's up to you, right? You decide what we talk about. Right? We are
Absolutely.
just your slaves. You are our
Absolutely.
producers.
So, guys, thank you so much. Me and Gopal are available in all the WhatsApp communities. You can reach out to us. We'll see you all in our next episode. Bye bye.
Bye.